Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video, we will have our discussion on the upcoming transit of Rahu and Ketu, which is going to be taking place on April 12th. And basis my calculation, the calculation I am relying on, this is going to be the time period when you will actually start experiencing the results of this transit. So now friends, we have already talked a lot about this transit, like the general results, the customized results, 5-pointer summary, and I've also explained the results basis that if this transit is going to be taking over your natal planets. So what kind of results you can expect, we have already talked about that to the lengths. But now friends, at the end I just thought, because this transit is so important, so there were certain points which got left out. Now friends, like the way I always say this thing, that it is a learning platform. We all learn from each other, and it's not like that I am only relying on my own research, my own consultations, but also whatsoever people are writing and talking and uploading in the astrology community, I try to remain updated in all of that. So basis all of that, I just thought of sharing my opinion on few more points which we will discuss in this video. And trust me, feel free to contribute your opinions, your views on that. And friends, just because even in my own natal chart, like my Rahu, my Mars are so strong, so not only I'm excited, I'm thrilled, but rather I'm also doing remedies as well. I just recently ordered this very beautiful Lord Hanuman idol in the Gomed stone as well. So yes, I'm very much thrilled, excited, and I'm very much sure that basis your calculation in your chart, you must be looking forward to this transit as well, because whenever we talk about the transit of Rahu and Ketu, they hold the key to open some new chapter in our life. Completely unexplored horizon and territory can be explored because of the support of the Rahu and Ketu. That is the only reason, friends. Rahu represents our present environment and the future growth, our future desires, and Ketu has got all the answers of our past life karmas. So now friends, I will straight away jump to the points which I have collected, and I'm going to be sharing it with you in this video. So the first point over here is that, friends, many people are saying this thing, that if you actually want to pay attention that in which specific area you are going to experience the results, so for that, on the day of the transit of Rahu and Ketu, you have to see that where their dispositor are placed in the transit. Now friends, the beauty over here is that if we are going to be getting that confirmation from one aspect, then we could have got confused, or we could have left it on the probability. But now during this time on the day, basis my calculation, when Rahu and Ketu are actually going to be transiting, shifting their signs, both of their dispositor, like Rahu's dispositor, which is the planet Mars, and Ketu's dispositor, which is the planet Venus, they both are going to be transiting in the Aquarius sign. So because of which, in whichsoever house the Aquarian energy is falling in your chart, somehow during this complete 1.5 years, Aquarius sign could tend to remain a focal point of from where all the strings might get pulled, or the epicenter of the energies of Rahu and Ketu. And because friends, as you know this thing, that during this year, like Saturn, which is also going to be transiting to and fro in the Aquarius sign, and even Rahu, which actually functions and gives results equivalent to the planet Saturn only. So because of which, you have to pay attention that what kind of energies, or what exactly kind of business is taking place or happening in the Aquarius sign, wheresoever it is taking place in your chart, whether it is falling in your 5th house, 10th house, 4th house, or your ascendant is of Aquarius. So trust me friends, whatsoever you have calculated, basis your dasha, basis all the transit videos which you might be hearing so far, somehow Aquarian energy is going to remain the focal point of the manifestation of the results. Always keep that thing in the back of your mind when you will be assessing all of these transits results in your life. Now friends, comes the second chapter of our today's discussion. So now a lot of you have been asking me that sir, after watching and following all of these updates on this upcoming transit of Rahu and Ketu, I came to this conclusion that this axis is making me a little bit vulnerable and I want to do the remedies. Now, but I'm just confused that out of these two polar opposite energy, which remedy shall I do? Because that is very obvious. If Rahu is falling or creating vulnerability for you, so the excess of Ketu, which is completely opposite to it, might also be equally making you a little bit vulnerable. But many of you are confused that which node shall I pay more attention to. So now friends, if you follow the Vedic rituals and all the Vedic mythological remedies and connected devotional measures, so that is very simple. Like Rahu can be appeased via the worship of goddess Durga or the worship of the Lord Kalabhairava. Like even in our Hindu lunar calendar, the ninth day of the waxing and waning phases of the moon is connected with the day which can be seen as auspicious for the worship of the goddess Durga. And same ways for Ketu, the worship of the Lord Ganesha or the fourth day, both of the waxing and waning phases of the moon as per the Hindu lunar calendar can be seen as a right approach of appeasing the energies of the Ketu. Now, just because if you have a busy professional life or very demanding like family life and you do not have that much time to spare. So now friends, that's very simple. All what you have to do is that you have to pick which node is more closest to your moon. So for example, if your moon nakshatra is Ashwini, Magha, Mula, so that means the impact or the influence of Ketu is strong in your life. You have to do the mantra or the recitation of the Ketu. Or if your moon nakshatra is Adra, Swati or Satbhisha, so that means the influence of Rahu is strong in your case. And that's not it. Even if you will find that your moon is in your natal chart is conjunct with either of the node, either it's conjunct with Rahu or conjunct with Ketu, so whichsoever node has a stronger influence on your moon, that is the connected remedy which you have to do if you are short on time. Or like for example, if you are such a confused case that your moon is conjunct with Ketu, but it is sitting in the nakshatra of Rahu. So for example, your moon is conjunct with Ketu in the Gemini sign, but it is sitting in the Ardra nakshatra. So then in those kind of circumstances, the best remedy is the worship of Lord Shiva or the recitation of the Mahamrityunjaya mantra. That can be seen as the panacea or the best remedy for any of the nodal tension which it might be creating for you in the transit. And next is friends, the next like chapter for today's discussion is like see, one thing which you have to understand is that many times like in our classical text there has been lot of mention of the Ucharohi and Nicharohi planet. So what that means in English is that, so for example, if you will find in someone's chart that sun is placed in the last degrees of the Virgo, so that means it is on a journey of going to its sign of debilitation. Or when sun is transiting through Pisces, so that means after that sun will be in a mode to just enter the sign of its exaltation. So now same way friends, now what is going to be happening over here is that, see, Rahu and Ketu are changing signs, but their energies are going through a complete change in a way that Rahu is entering from the energy of the Venus to the energy of Mars, like from Taurus to the Aries, and Ketu is entering from the energy of Mars, which is Scorpio, to the domain of the Venus, which is the Libra. So because of which friends, definitely there is going to be little bit of the turmoil or kind of a energy of confusion and chaos initially. See, you have to understand this thing. There is no doubt that when we talk about the strong dignity of the Rahu and Ketu, so many astrologers even consider the sign of Taurus as the placement of exaltation for the Rahu and the placement of Scorpio as the exaltation placement for the Ketu. So now friends, the question which comes over here is that, see, whenever these nodes get dignified or their exaltation straight away means that the agenda of nodes are going to be working in a strong way in your case. So now it all comes down to your own self introspection in your life. So let's say for example, if you have been at the receiving end of any of the financial dispute, financial your money being siphoned off because of some wrong investment, or some people duped you, on heavily on the matters of finances, or some sort of past trauma, or kind of crisis, childhood abuse or trauma which might have suddenly come on the surface, or all those people who remained a source or matter of your pain in the past, they suddenly appeared in your life. So that is how the energies of Rahu and Ketu work even when they are dignified. So now friends, what is going to be happening over here is that the moment they are going to change signs, so Rahu entering in the Aries and Ketu entering in the energy of the Venus in the form of Libra, you have to look at it in this way, that whatsoever have been your experiences so far in the matters of your finances, in the energy, or while dealing in the energies of the Taurus, wheresoever it is falling in your chart basis your ascendant, all what you have to do is that you do not have to be very quick to come to any conclusion. So let's say, for example, if you have been at the receiving end of any financial dispute or any financial litigation, court cases, so try not to be very quick to come to any conclusion. Same way is the approach you have to follow on the end of the Ketu as well, because friends, whatsoever might have happened so far in the axis of the Ketu in the form of its placement in the Scorpio, it might have bring all those past wounds on the surface, but the moment it is going to enter in the sign of Libra, that can be seen as a new beginning, a new auspicious beginning. So you have to remain kind of very honest over there and very kind of open-minded over there, that you should not be critical, you should not be judgmental in forming deep harmonious bond in the new relationship, of while forming a new relationship in the matters of wheresoever Libra energy is going to be falling in your chart. Now friends, that is going to be equally applicable if, like say for example, your ascendant is Libra in itself. So the kind of that approach and attitude of self-loathing, being highly critical of yourself, kind of being very hard on yourself, so that is the kind of approach and attitude which you have to save yourself from. So now whether that energy is falling in your first house or any house, that is how you have to read, because even the nodal energy is going through complete change of environment and complete change of kind of the way energy exert or get manifested. Now friends, the last point is that which I wanted to mention over here is about the intensity of the planets. So now friends, what happen is that many times like many astrologers rely on this fact that if you are going to find the planets to be placed in a zodiac sign, in whichsoever section of the zodiac sign they are placed in. So like for example, if Saturn is going to be placed in the middle section of the zodiac sign, so if you have Saturn to be placed in 14 degrees or 15 degrees in your chart, and when you run the dasha of the Saturn, so Saturn dasha, which is a long time period, so many astrologers say this thing, that basis its placement in a zodiac sign, even dasha start manifesting its results accordingly, like which kind of hold resonance in my own life as well, because I am going through the Saturn dasha. Saturn is in the Scorpio, that too in the middle of the Scorpio sign. My Saturn dasha did not start with this much kind of confidence and direction and foreign settlement and spiritual kind of growth and progress and inclinations. So all of that which I am right now currently experiencing, that only started happening once I entered the middle phase of my Saturn dasha, because Saturn is placed in the middle of my chart. So many astrologers have also been concluding, just because Rahu and Ketu are always retrograde in motion, so they will enter the sign of Aries and Libra from the back end of the sign. So many astrologers are also concluding that, like the way all the COVID first breakout and all those world and global events which took place in the past as well, whenever Rahu and Ketu have changed signs, so generally the energy of those events were felt right at the beginning of the section of the transit of the nodes. So the point which I'm trying to make over here is that many astrologers are also saying this thing, that their energy will start with strong intensity, and the intensity will start diminishing with their passage or with their their journey deep within the Aries and the Libra sign. So the point which I'm trying to make over here is that just because we are right now in a month where there is a lot of planetary shift which is going to be taking place, and with this energy and entry of Rahu and Ketu in very intense signs, which is not a very harmonious placement for them, so during these initial few weeks you have to remain more cautious, and whatsoever remedies you have to opt basis this alignment and your assessment in your own life, in your own charts. Start doing that right from the beginning only. Like many times what happen is that, okay, if I have to get a gemstone, if I have to start reciting this mantra, so I will start doing in a few weeks or after a month. So my advice is that start doing it right from the beginning, because the intensity or the energy manifestation by these nodes are going to be at its peak right from the beginning of this transit or their entry in these signs of Aries and Libra. So yes friends, these were the few points which got left out. I was initially thinking about writing it via a post, but I thought that it will be more helpful if we will have a one-on-one discussion over a YouTube video. And definitely friends, this was my last brick on this big wall of discussion of this upcoming transit of Rahu and Ketu. I'm seriously, honestly speaking, I'm very excited. I'm very much looking forward to it. And I'm sure you must be with equal level of enthusiasm looking forward to this transit. So okay friends, please feel free to share your opinions, your views on these points which we discussed. And for further more updates and notifications on the divine signs of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. धन्यवाद.